BC. This is the Pharaoh that stood before Moses, Tutmosis III. This amazing statue carved in pink granite. Tutmosis III, 1450 BC. Here in the British Museum. Tutmosis III, very likely to be the pharaoh that was the pharaoh of the Exodus. Notice how his head has been removed, vandalized, possibly due to the fact that he failed in stopping the Israelites from leaving Egypt because they escaped and were in the wilderness for 40 years. Tutmosis III of Egypt. His head being vandalized and removed, possibly due to the fact that he failed in allowing the Israelites to leave Egypt. Being the next upcoming pharaoh, but we know the story in the Bible where Moses, at the age of 40, fled Egypt after he killed an Egyptian who was beating up on an Israeli, and he fled for 40 years, and later he came back 40 years later from out of the land of Midian.
This says, in the early 19th century, the papyrus dating from the end of the Middle Kingdom was found in Egypt. It was taken to the Leiden Museum in Holland, interpreted by A.H. Gardner in 1909. The complete papyrus can be found in the book of Admonitions of an Egyptian from a heretic papyrus in Leiden. The papyrus is described violent upheavals in Egypt, starvation, drought, escape of slaves with the wealth of the Egyptians.
Sounds like Exodus to me. Sounds like Exodus to me. It's about to go down. It's about to go down, man. Okay, go ahead.
And death throughout the land, the papyrus written by an Egyptian named Ipure.
Bro, Israelite?
Egyptian named Ipure.
No, he might have been a Gentile. You know, he might have been Israelite.
Written by an Egyptian.
Oh, he was
Egyptian.
But they still don't want to fuck with him.
They don't want to fuck with him.
So he was an Egyptian that wrote about his own catastrophes that was going on in the civilization.
That's what his name was, Ipure.
Go ahead, brother.
And appears to be an eyewitness account of the effects of the Exodus plagues.
Ooh. Hold on, man. Just let it soak, right? Just let it build. Because we about to tear that ass up, man. Go ahead.
The effects of the Exodus plagues.
Now look, I want to read these verses in the King James Version because that might be a different version. Okay?
Yeah, of course. I got you.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, it says, from the perspective of an average Egyptian, below are excerpts from the papyrus together with the perils in the book of Exodus. Okay? So I'm gonna start with the first.
We're gonna run it all down.
Run it all down.
It's all scriptures.
Okay?
Go ahead.
You get Exodus 7 and 20. All right, Ipure Papyrus, Leiden 344. 2, 5 and 6.
Right, just
plague is throughout the land, blood is everywhere.
Right. Now, the scripture that goes, let me see this. The scripture that goes with it, give me Exodus 7 and 20. Plague is throughout the land, blood is everywhere. Now this is Ipure, writing about what's going on with his
eyewitness, man.
That dude was an Egyptian, right?
He was an Egyptian.
Egyptian eyewitness.
But brother, he might have been
Egyptian eyewitness.
So he wasn't an Israelite. He might have been Hebrew, brother. No, he was a fucking Egyptian, man.
Dude eating Hamites, the fuck
Egyptian, man.
Exodus 7 and 20.
This is Exodus 7, verse 20.
Speak loud, man.
And Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded. And he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh. Verse 20.
Most High. Your head's covered, but your daughter's head's not covered. We'll get to that in a minute. Here's a question. Are you from another, like, Israelite camp or something? You know you're an Israelite?
G.M.S.
Say it again, sis?
G.M.S.
You was a part of G.M.S? Are you still a part of G.M.S today? Why not?
I don't know.
You don't know why not? You just left just because of what?
It's two ways to explain, but
Give me a short detail.
I just love the truth all the way raw, real. I don't like the fake stuff. They were doing too much. It was controlling the slavery.
It was slavery in G.M.S? What, can you give us an example?
No, I can't.
You can't give us an example? Did they treat you wrong or your daughter wrong or anything? Were you married to anybody in G.M.S? You didn't have a husband in G.M.S?
I had a hand. He had other women.
So you had a husband?
Yeah.
You said he had other women. What nation was those women?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Possibly a Hebrew, like she was white or she was white.
They were. So he had Edomite wives. Is that what you're telling me, sis?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's okay. Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, they did it.
And they went. Now, why did he kick your daughter out?
Because he didn't want her with the other children.
He did not want her. Say it again.
The woman that he was with, she didn't want my daughter pregnant with her daughter.
So, in other words, the Edomite woman, his Edomite wife, took precedence over what goes on in the house compared to you.
She runs
the black woman, the daughter of Sarah. And the Edomite woman, what?
She runs
the Edomite woman runs the house. And the Edomite woman, what? The Edomite woman runs the house.
That's what he had me. Because I was talking about, the white woman, I like dealing with the white woman. You goddamn right I like dealing with the white woman. Guess what? I was with a white woman last night. Okay? Okay? Nigga? Faggot? Yeah, I was with a white woman last night. Okay? Now, anyways, you got something here? Read it, brother.
This is Exodus, the first chapter and the 19th verse.
I'm gonna tell. And I'm gonna be with the white woman again.
Isn't it true, Brother General? When the pyramids was being built, there was no such thing as Hebrew Israelites on the planet?
That is a 110% lie.
Show and prove that the Hebrew Israelites existed at that time of Imhotep.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Imhotep, all of them were during the time of our people's slavery in Egypt. They turn around and try to say, well, there was no Israelites in Egypt. I've been to Egypt several times. I looked at the archaeology. I looked at the records. Now, I'll pull out books all day. We'll sit down and take the time and bring out all the records. We was enslaved in Egypt. You're not going to tell me that in the Egyptian records, it doesn't say the Hyksos were there.
In the shadow of the Great Pyramids of Giza, Egypt has displayed its latest archaeological discovery. Tombs more than 4,000 years old, said to belong to workers who built them. The modest 9-foot deep shafts encased in limestone were uncovered last week. They held a dozen skeletons of pyramid builders, perfectly preserved by dry desert sand. In addition to bones, the tombs also contain jars that once held beer and bread meant for the workers in their afterlife. Egypt's archaeology chief Zahi Hawass said they date to the 4th dynasty, around 2,500 years before Christ. He said the discovery could well be the most important of the 21st century, with their location a key element in dispelling a popular belief.
But the discovery of the tombs of the pyramid builders reconstruct history and tell us that the builders of the pyramids were Egyptians and the builder of the pyramids were not slaves, because they will be buried beside the pyramids, in the shadow of the pyramids.
Hawass said the manner of their burial and the fact that those who died during the construction were entombed so close to the pharaohs and the pyramids meant they were honored workers, not slaves. Karen Sloan, The Associated Press.
And you're not going to tell me that it doesn't say that the capital of the Hyksos was in what you call Cairo today, which was Goshen in the past. They not going to say that. But of course, like in America, they don't call you by your identity. What do they call us? African Americans or Negroes. They called us shepherd kings back then too. And let me say this, for all the Egyptian scholars, every Egyptian scholar that pulls out archaeological books on Egypt, when you go to the back of the book and you look at the credits on who the original archaeologists are, they always go back to Manetho. Manetho was the archaeologist that was first commissioned by Ptolemy to bring the records of Egypt out. Those are the foundations of all Egyptian archaeology records. And we found out Manetho was a damn liar. Manetho was a liar. Manetho plagiarized the Egyptian history. Why? Because Ptolemy was building a huge library in Alexandria on all the religions and cultures of the world. So Manetho wanted to get rich off of Ptolemy's money and plagiarized a bunch of lies about our history.
Even back during his time, Egypt faced many invasions that came in by way of the Delta. These were the Asiatics that you see right here. Now, as I mentioned before, the Asiatics who came across the Sinai. So here we see the earliest recording of these people who came in and settled with us for a while, till they built in numbers, and then eventually attacking Egypt. This is again from Khnumhotep's tomb from the 12th dynastic period, right during the time of Amenhotep III. Here again, Manetho talks about, now you can see the Hyksos who came into Egypt, and Manetho said, unexpectedly from the region of the east came men of unknown race, confident of the victory, they marched against our land. By force they took it easy without a single battle. Having overpowered our rulers, they burned our cities without compassion and destroyed the temples. All the people were treated with great cruelty, for they slew some and carried off the wives of children of others into slavery. Doesn't that sound like a familiar account? This period is documented around 1650 or 1750, right around the same time of Abraham. Now, take a good look of the pictures that I showed earlier too. These were the Hyksos that you see right here. These were the invaders, just as you see them carved in stone right here. These are the people who came out of the Sinai. Some say from Mitanni, some say they were Hurrians. These are the Temerians who were indigenous to the Nile Valley, as well as the Ta-Nehisian brothers who were further up in the southern part of Egypt, or Kemet. Ancient Ethiopia, as some would call it. These were the Tamahu people who invaded from Libya from the west. They attacked Egypt after the 6th dynastic period. Now, it was this brother that we showed again, Thutmose I, who finally expelled them out of our land. Now, I'm showing this in reference with the temple, how our ancestors, you're witnessing, recording these people who came into our land, who invaded, and Thutmose I finally expelled them. We want to give you documented evidence to show you that we were at war with these people who were invaded by these Asiatic people. And the same people who are ruling us today, who are exploiting us out of our minds, are the same people who invaded our land long ago, who came in even during the time of the 12th dynastic period, right after Amenhotep. And we called them the troglodytes who came out of the desert. How can we dispute this documented evidence, documented information? But the only way we're going to get this story right, we're going to have to start writing our own holy text, because if everybody else have had their story and revised the Bible, then why can't we, the original writers of the book, bring it back to its African origin? Now, right here on these temples here, now you can see documented where we tied them up, roped them, and forced them out of our land. These are the people that we've always had problems with. The problem is we don't understand a historical war. It's a historical war with these people. And European Ashkenazi European Jews know this. We're the people who don't know it. It's an ancient historical war from the time we've had contact with them.
It's prepared, not dressed. So everybody, hold on. Everybody agree with prepared. Do everybody agree with prepared?
I have my garment right here. I have my garment right here. I have my garment right here.
Hold on, I'm trying to make sure everybody's in agreement. Prepared to teach, right?
Prepared to teach.
Prepared to teach, though?
Prepared to teach.
Prepared to teach,
hold on. Prepared to give an answer.
Prepared to teach,
Prepared to give an answer.
Prepared to teach,
Prepared to give
I'm making sure everybody's in agreement, right?
Prepared to give an answer.
Prepared to teach, right?
He just had drugs.